You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one on one with
Okay.
us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another
So
OMG
should
podcast
I just
segment.
start talking?
Okay, no, you're okay. It's me. I was just listening to
Yeah.
Tony. Tony is a great
Mhm.
voiceover. He did the intro. And this is Paul Finkelstein at OMG Biz Cafe, the live talk radio. We're live on YouTube and LinkedIn and X. And I'm here with a small business owner, entrepreneur, and workaholic professional. Her name is Gabrielle. She designs websites. She's a digital marketing consultant, and I'm looking forward to a a small or long, depending on how long she can go. Let's see if I could outlast her or she could outlast me. So let's go with the flow. How are you today, Gabrielle? Just test your mic, say how are you, or what's going on, or how are you today, and what part of the world are you playing in?
Yep. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. It's great to finally meet you. It's always great when we could connect. I love that when I
Yes.
ask these questions, I know business owners have a passion for what they do. So I'm sure let that passion shine about everything that you do so that we could help you give your business a boost. Uh, so, what are
Thank
your core business
you.
objectives? Maybe tell us a little bit about your story.
So my business, it's I have a lot of different backgrounds. I started in nursing, and then I switched to psychology, and now I'm working on law stuff. But I've always done a lot of business website type stuff because I started on like neopets.com, which like a cartoon type like kid website. And by the age of 10, like I was doing a lot of website design, and I kind of like would go on there and I would just like chat with people, and we started doing a lot of graphics and stuff like that, which led into what I'm doing now. I'm still in school and I'm planning on going into law, but I really like fostering change and inclusivity. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, I'm neurodivergent, and I like to incorporate my creativity into all my websites. So yeah.
You're the second person that I've met
Mhm.
on Skylar or the internet
Mhm.
that's used the term neurodivergent. I heard it was a new term.
Mhm.
And I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever met either Alignable or LinkedIn or Skylar. There's a lady that
Mhm.
maybe you should connect with. I don't know if you ever met her, named Mary Stanley.
Oh yes, she is very sweet. I know Mary.
Okay, excellent.
um,
Because when you
so,
said neurodivergent, I had to hook you up with her if you
yeah.
hadn't met her before. And sometimes she's a
Yeah.
regular at OMG Biz Cafe as well.
Mhm.
So, who is your target audience for your digital consulting business?
So everybody, I really want to. I know everybody says don't like say everyone when you're targeting a certain audience, but really, I really want to be able to target as many people as I can because I want to show that as someone who's neurodivergent, you are fully capable of being able to do things. And, every mind is different. And there's been a lot of things I've been through in my life that I just want to be able to show that, like, hey, just because you have like a unique way of thinking doesn't mean it has to be looked down upon. It can be a beautiful thing. And that's why I make a lot of really different, unique type style websites. Yeah.
Perfect. So tell us what's the unique value that you do that you offer compared to your competitors? And
Okay.
probably
So, like,
more on what you just said, but I'm sure
mhm.
you could add to that.
Yeah. So like my websites are very so like most people I've had people even ask me if I have an AI that makes my websites, which I think it's that's a compliment, I would say. But my websites are not. They're fully like hand. I do them like each and every single one. I make them myself. I design them completely. And they're very different because, like, for example, I have a website right now. If you go to ellable.com, which is where I sell everything, if you go down, for example, I have like a button, and if you press it, starts playing music. And then as you're scrolling down, everything's moving. It's very fun. Like, I try to make the website like an art because to me, it's like art. And it's very peace inducing for me. So, like, whenever I make one, I find a lot of peace in it. So, yeah, that's the big thing. Mm.
Could you tell us about defining brand identity and what that means to you?
So I think that brand identity has a lot to do with being authentic. I think that each person has their individual brand identity, you know, and that can be for people just in general. But I think also in a marketing like standpoint, I think every single person has some sort of identity, and the brand is like kind of like who you are as a person. So for me, with brand identity, I am more like a fun, creative person. So like when you go to my site, you see fun creativity like all over it, if that makes sense. Um, and I'm very like I have a heart of a child, I would say, in a lot of things, and I like to incorporate these things. So like, there's a lot of things from my childhood and stuff that I also incorporate in and whatnot.
So how do you want your customers to perceive your brand?
Well, I want them to perceive me as someone who, of course, is genuine, who's authentic, and then somebody who they can relate to. If there's like somebody, like when I was young, I had a lot of like bullying and stuff growing up, and I had like kids that were really mean. They would like come up to me and they would say like, "Oh, do you think you have friends? You don't have friends," and then they just like run, and they were really mean. But you know, I want kids that are going through those kind of things to be able to look at that and say, you know, if I do have a difference, if I have things that are interesting to me that maybe others don't see as interest, I can use these to kind of expand my knowledge and do something great with it.
So tell us, who are your main competitors and what do you like or dislike about their websites? How about that for a question?
Mhm. Okay, so the truth is, I am a very competitive person. So I find competition with everything and everyone and everywhere. But at the same time, I don't really go to other people and kind of like look at other sites and say, oh, like, I don't like this or I like this. What I do is I like to take what I like and I like to build other people up. And then I'll explain to them, like, oh, you probably could do this. I always am there to help people. So I don't really compare like that a lot of times. So yeah.
Now, do you have a preferred color scheme and design aesthetic, or you ask questions and let other people choose what colors they want? Do you guide them down a path of what colors are perfect for certain industry websites?
So sometimes, but most of the time, people say, Gabby, just make the site. And then I just do it. If they have no clue what they want, I just say, what's your favorite color? And then I take that color and I ask them, and I build a connection and I talk to them. And I like to get to know them because if I can get to know them, I can use their favorite color and things that they've talked to me about to incorporate into the website. So that's how I do them.
Excellent. And for some reason, I think that you disappeared on my video side.
Oh,
You might want to refresh your screen on that side. We still hear you. So we're still there, and I'll
okay.
keep asking questions just in case your video
Okay.
doesn't pop up. I'll just put up an image. Oh, there we go. I
Okay.
have a picture there. And also
Okay.
you might have to click on the video button twice to see the video again. But I'll click on the
Okay.
picture and see if that makes it.
Okay.
Let's
Your
see.
video went away now, but
Yes, it's here for me. I know that, but
Mhm.
for some reason, um, it's not there
Mhm.
now. But question. Let's
Mhm.
see. How often would you plan to update somebody's website content? I mean, once you do the website content, do you just leave it
Mhm.
that way, or do you recommend that maybe you do a blog for somebody, and do you do it for
Mhm.
them, or do you hire a VA to do it for them?
Mhm.
How often do you change the content?
So since I really enjoy it, I look at it every day. Most of the people that I work with, I'm viewing their stuff every day and I'm checking their stats every single day. And not only that, I just want to see them succeed. So it depends on like the person, but no matter what, I would never leave them without assistance of some sort. So like even after they pay, even if they cancel their subscription, it's done with. Like I'm always going to be there, like for them to call and ask me because I think that that's the right way to do things. Like if you're working on something for somebody and they need help, and you clearly could tell they don't understand things, like I want to be able to help them understand and like be able to like use it like forever. So
Thank you for that. Okay,
mhm.
and would you prefer me to call you Gabby or Gabrielle, by the way?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Potato,
gotcha.
potato.
So Gabby is
Yeah.
good. Okay, great. And by the way, if anybody do wants to see what Gabrielle looks like or Gabby, you could just rewind towards the beginning, we're at the 10-minute mark, by the way, and you could actually
Mhm.
see her on screen on video. So we do have proof that she really is not a bot. Okay. On that note, let's see. What are potential barriers to converting customers from a website? Um, any suggestions you have that actually helps convert customers from a website? How people should use their website to actually get customers and convert them into paying clients?
Yeah, I think that when people are using your website or like the way that they are wording their things, you want to be strategic, you know, and I think that you should always like try to talk to your customer and figure out what they like. And your ideal customer, what they tell you could definitely be used on your site to target more people. So, like, if you find a customer, listen very keenly to what they say. You can utilize what they say to incorporate it into your website so you can get other people similar to them.
Oh, great. Okay. Now, could you
Mhm.
tell us anything about keywords, backlinks, and long tail keywords? Does any of those things ring any bells?
Yeah, all of them. All of them are very important from an SEO standpoint. So you definitely need to be able to, okay, so first I want to start with, I know a lot of people doing SEO are like into AI and stuff, and they have AI kind of like doing it for them, like the keyword selection. They think that's all SEO is like, like that's all it entails. But I've been doing this since I've been 10 years old, like the website designing, the building, all of it. And I will say that I think that the big key is being able to make links in places where people are able to like see call to actions and stuff like that. And I think that your words that you're selecting on your page should have all of the words on your page, again, like I said before, should target the audience that you're looking for. And I think that when you're selecting between like using like certain words, you should really be paying attention to the other websites that come up when you search the site name that you choose. Because if you look at the other sites of the site name that you choose, it can be very telling. And that's a strategy I use for the SEO when I do help with SEO. But even though like primarily I'm like more into like digital design and stuff, when I do work on SEO, that's what I really am looking for and looking at.
The next four questions are going to pose to social media strategies. And would that
Mhm.
entail something you can answer to? Because that's part of digital consulting, not just website.
Yeah, I have over 100,000 followers on TikTok and I'm verified.
Oh my
I'm
God.
verified a while.
Good.
Yeah, it's,
I
I
think
don't post often anymore, but I used to be a very avid TikToker. So, yeah.
so what social media platforms do you currently use now?
Right now, I'm actually more so like I like LinkedIn a lot. I've been using Alignable. I guess I would consider that social media, right? I like Facebook. Facebook is great. Instagram. I still use TikTok, but more so for browsing. But I do post every now and then, but not as often as I was before.
What would your goals be in using social media for businesses? How often would you recommend businesses post on them? Should they use their phone to do it? Use a laptop, wherever, in between
Mhm.
appointments? Sometimes business owners are so overwhelmed because time is money and they don't have time
Mhm.
to do all those things. And I guess that's why hire someone like yourself.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, people think it really matters what you're using, but I don't think it matters what you're using as much as the content that you're giving. So, like, if you give, like, if you're using like your phone, I think iPhones are great nowadays. That's what I use for like everything, and I have the newest iPhone because of it. Um, I used to try and use DSLR cameras and stuff. I thought, oh, I had all these light and all this. Light is very important. One key point is when you're filming, you want the light to kind of face you. But my point, I don't want to get off, sorry, ADHD. But I wanted to say that, like, I think that, it's really important to understand the content you're posting and the quality of it. If you can post quality content every single day, that's great. If you can't, then I would rather you post once a week a quality content than post every single day some content that nobody's really going to pay attention to. Because once you grasp your viewer, that's what's going to be used to kind of like expand your audience.
Right. Now, tell me, you mentioned quality content a couple of times. What does quality content mean to a professional digital consultant? Is quality content the right picture, the right words, good grammar, punctuation, or a fast text message, maybe a couple of words? Maybe you use ChatGPT as your secretary, like I've discovered to use with perfect punctuation, but then I can tell it to be a little bit more flavorful and make it sound more exciting than just like a basket weaver that weaves baskets underground. That's a chemist. That sounds boring.
So I would say that when it comes to like quality content, when I say that, I think it's to each in their own. I've seen people post the most like non-lit content, like content that's not lit, it's not colorful, it's bland, and it skyrockets. And I think quality content is what is your viewer looking for and what can you connect to with your viewer that you guys can share virtually and digitally. I think that that's what kind of like can tell you if a video or a post or anything like that is quality. If somebody is on like YouTube, right? Like ideally somebody like just on a street, if you ask them, they'd probably be like, oh, it needs to be very clear, colorful, at least to look like this, that. But honestly, I think content could be anything as long and quality. Okay, that's what makes quality content.
Authentic is the magic word of the day. I've heard that so many times. So
Yeah.
let's talk about email marketing for a second. That's part of digital consulting a little bit there. Do you currently use a email list and a broad or small list of just clients, some with prospects? How do you deal with email marketing or anything?
So previously I worked for someone and I would do all her emails and stuff. And I would just add like a lot of stuff that would be interesting. Like, I think it's kind of boring. Like right now I have a newsletter that I just kind of put out and I think it's really nice to brighten somebody's day. So like, for example, today my post, like I put a picture of my dog. He's like a little Shih Tzu mix. And then I just kind of like wrote, I think that a lot of times on digital media, social media, people just kind of like go and they start posting like stuff that they don't even really enjoy or like. And they want other people to like it. But if you don't enjoy it, how are other people are going to enjoy it? If it's the same as everybody else, how are
the email marketing for is to promoting weekly events, monthly events, networking events, where that business is going to be, where they're going to be doing some public speaking. Maybe it's a live talk show like this, for instance. We're currently on LinkedIn and YouTube, and anybody that's on there, I don't see any comments yet. But if you're able to, or if you have anything important you want me to put in the comments, I'll give an example and I'll throw something in the comments and I could put that into this live video here, which does spice up a live talk show. Let's see, what else could we talk about for email? How would you segment an email audience?
Could you elaborate for me?
Right? I was thinking, I was thinking while I said that, is there any way I can elaborate that for myself? Because when you rely on your secretary to type your questions, let's go skip and go to the next one.
It's okay.
Exactly. Let's talk about paid advertising. Are there any particular sites that you actually like paid advertising? You think that sometimes you're a little bit overrated and that the paid advertising, it feels like maybe Google ads and Facebook ads. Google and Facebook make the money, but does the business make money? Or have you had success targeting customers and prospects using those tools?
Um, so I know that when it comes to ads and stuff, I've seen a lot. Sorry, my dog is like in the background. He's like sneezing. They like so Shipus like to do like a reverse sneeze. So sorry about that. But
Hmm.
I think okay, so sorry about
I
that.
see his picture
Um,
there, and we have a Shih Tzu too, though, so we have some common
yeah,
ground there also.
yeah. You probably understand a reverse sneeze, right? That they do.
I always thought that he did that when he's upset and mad at me. Maybe that's a
Oh
sneeze, and I didn't
no.
realize it.
No, the reason at least I read online is because of like how short their faces are and like their nuzzle and stuff. That's what I heard. I heard it's because of like how short it is. I don't
Hmm.
know how true that is, but that's what I heard. So
And
my
his,
dog
but
definitely does it when he's not
but
mad
your Shih Tzu
sometimes.
is a
But
mix because ours is a Havanese and a Shih Tzu.
yeah, he's a Shih Tzu. He's a Shih
Oh,
Tzu and a
Shih Tzu.
poodle. Yeah. Um yeah, I give him paw. He literally like give me his paw and stuff and
So
I'm
double the
veering off
cuteness.
topic, sorry.
Double the cuteness.
Yes, I love Winston. His name's Winston, but he goes by Win.
I think this is probably a hot topic for digital marketers is
Mhm,
a CRM, a customer
mhm,
relationship management. So
mhm,
how do you currently manage customer relationships? Or
mhm,
maybe you use paper.
mhm. Yeah, text. I literally text and I would like literally call. It just depends on who I'm working with. Everybody I take an individualized approach to.
And so just texting, any other software tools that you use, and you might not know, but Skylar has something called Skylar AI. When you click on it, it's
Mhm.
actually a functioning CRM where you could build a
Oh,
pipeline
okay.
and it might save the day for
Oh,
you.
oh,
So I've
that's
been
nice.
exploring a lot there. So you definitely
Yeah.
want to take your
Uh-huh.
time looking into that
Hmm.
while it's in its
So
beta phase. Go ahead.
mhm. I was gonna say I don't really use anything like specifically, but I type 220 words a minute, so it's really quick for me to send like a message if I need to, and like responding does not take me long either. So I kind of just like will write out my own thing like and just send it out is usually what I do.
Did you guys hear that? She types 220 words a minute. I think maybe my chat GBT does something equivalent to that. It goes pretty quick. I just asked it for 50 questions to type out. I just told everybody I cheated, used my secretary. It was AI. And I was watching all the questions flash across my phone. And who knows, maybe that's 1,000 words a minute for all I know. So how would you gather customer feedback? I guess asking each one, using a survey, Survey Monkey, other things.
So one thing, for example, like when I worked before with my previous person, that I did a lot is I would go and like if I'm working, like I would just ask throughout the day, like, "Hey, do you like this? What do you think about this?" Or like, "What don't you like?" And I would try to change it because I'm a very big problem solver. And I think most of like the ideation strategist type people are, because I call myself a digital visionary ideation strategist. That's what I call it. It's kind of different because nobody's really come up with that name. But uh, primarily, I like to just ask people because if you ask people, you'll receive an answer. And if they don't want to give you an answer, maybe they're not the best person to consult with. But overall, most people are very willing to tell you what they dislike, what they like. And if you can use that to incorporate and be receptive of constructive feedback, like you would do great.
Excellent. So do you have, I mean, I know today loyalty sometimes is few and far between, but is there any program that you've put into place now or you're still exploring um, how you could keep loyalty in the small business practice to get customers to keep coming and coming back, even from the simple thing when you go buy a sandwich at a sub place and they punch a card, and every time they punch it by the 10th punch, you get an
Mhm.
11th sub for free.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one way
Mhm.
that actually keeps people coming back. They want that free one. So is there
Yeah.
anything you have in place for the digital world?
Yeah. So if you're a business owner and you just contact me like on Alignable or anywhere, when you contact me, if we're like friends or if we're connected in some way, I actually make a coupon code specifically for you so that you can use that and get between 20 to 25% off of everything.
Now that sounds like the deal of a lifetime. So a specialized coupon code just for each individual customer. So one customer might be 25%. Another one might be 10, maybe if they're less involved. Maybe another one might be more. We're averaging 29%. Of course, still leave some on the
Mhm.
side so you can earn a living.
Yeah, that. And then I also have come up with for my websites, if you buy from me, I have like a certificate. So it's called the Elible Cert, is what it's called. And it's a collector's item that I've kind of like rolled out. How it's going to work is there's going to be different tiers of it. So it's a transfer of and say, oh, this is your site now, right? But they get the certificate that you can frame. And once you get a certificate, it'll have like a unique number on it. And that number you can use to get like a code and like actually eventually later on have like a discount like with Elible. So like over time, like right now, if people buy, since I just kind of like kickstarted a lot of things, the certificate that people get, that's like a grandfather certificate. But over time, the tiers of the certificates will change and people can collect them and they can kind of like flaunt it and say, hey, like I have like the OG certificate and whatnot, you know? So yeah.
Do you see any trends that are emerging that will impact your industry in the digital world for marketing?
The AI, definitely. But I think if it's used strategically, it's not a problem. I think that it can be a problem if people aren't careful. But overall, I mean, like, that's the biggest thing. I think that change is always difficult. And I think for a lot of people, change is difficult. It's not just that, it's just nothing stays the same and you always have to be able to adapt to things, which is kind of like a hard thing to do, but I've kind of trained myself on how to like adapt to things by force through like experiences I've had in my life.
Now, sometimes the consumers, our customers, can be fickle at times. Maybe they're looking around for quotes. Maybe perhaps they haven't decided if they even want to buy what all of us sell, but nobody
Hmm.
wants to be sold, but they love to buy. So,
Hmm.
how do you see consumer behavior and being able to adapt to different types of consumer behaviors? This sounds like a pretty deep question.
So that is a deep question. Um, so I feel like I think you raised a really good point, and I think that honestly, like I think you just need to be willing to foster a true relationship with whoever you're talking to. And I think that I'm a person that, like, no matter who you are, I'm always going to respect you. You know, like, I think that everybody deserves to be loved, valued, respected. Um, and, you know, I think it's very important that the people that you're working with, you can treat them like with integrity. You know, don't just try to like rob them, like highway robbery, and you go up to the road and like, I don't know, but like, yeah, you like want to be able to like have a genuine connection, and that keeps coming up, that authenticity. So I think it's very important. Like, just have integrity, like with whoever you're talking to.
So, be yourself and do what you say you're going to do.
Yes, yes. If you're going to tell somebody that you're going to add something to their site, and let's say some things don't happen, right? Some things are not linear. I usually am able to incorporate what I need to do, but life happens. You're not going to be able to do everything that you say, right? But integrity is being able to say, hey, you know what? I might not be able to do this, but I can find someone who can help you with this, and I'm going to work on it and help you with it.
I think you're reading my mind because my next question was actually you seem like a one trick pony, or you're the chief, the cook, and the bottle washer. You're the everything in your business, and when you need to get another resource, you go out and find it, and through your experiences, you know how to find one that will fit within the budget of yourself and the customer. So is
Yeah.
there any particular resources that you're lacking now that you're looking for? And maybe this might be the opportune time to say, hey, I'm looking for blank. Or do you have a lot of tools in your tool bucket already, and you can be a resource for other small businesses besides what your specialty is.
Honestly, I have met so many people, especially through Alignable, and I honestly do not think that there's a resource I'm looking for right now that I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I was looking for a web developer, but yesterday I was in a meeting and like they were like talking to me because even though I can help like with development and stuff, that's not like my primary focus. And I would be a liar to say, oh, I like to just develop websites and program and stuff. That's not, I like to design and I like to create.
All right, let's see what other final thought questions I have, and then I'll ask you for the last thoughts before we wrap up. So let's see. How can we best support you in achieving your goals? How about that? A good ending question for today.
I would say just, visit ellable.com, visit my website, gabedo.com, and on my LinkedIn, subscribe to my newsletter, I would say, my
Let
blog.
me type in your website and put it in the screen if I can here. Let's see if I try to
Mhm.
go ahead and try to spell it for me, and I won't do it
Yeah.
220 words a minute, but I'll type it in here. How is it? Go ahead. Like you're talking
It's
over the phone.
No worries. It's GAB, so Gab,
Yes.
and then edo.com. And that's my main website.
Is Edo ITO or
Oh, it's EATO.
EATO? So Gabedo, all one word.com.
Yeah. So that'll take you to like my primary website. But I also have like ellable.com, which is where I do like all my sales and stuff.
How do I
But that's
spell
on there.
that? Ellable.com. I haven't. Is that a big website or your own website?
So that website is the big like website where like I sell things. So it's the
Like
ELE,
ELE.
and then able.com. Yeah.
Ellable.
Yes. And that comes from my name.
That up on the screen. So that is your own website, like you're your own eBay.
Basically. I guess if you put it that way.
Okay, excellent. It's really great. I put those up on the screen so people can see it. It's interesting. I spelled Gabedo, and I don't know how it decides to do it, but it shows up maybe because you could post on YouTube and not on LinkedIn, even though you can post under the video after it's done. So hopefully I can tag you on LinkedIn and find it so that other place to follow up and keep in touch, because they say that success is in the follow-up. So I'll share once more that website on the screen. Ellable, ELEABLE.com is how you could find Gabrielle or Gabby out of the Ohio area. But I imagine you service any business across the world or the US or Canada?
Oh, yep, the whole world. I'm happy to help.
Excellent. There's an amazing, that's a broad space to work from. But hey, if you're in Thailand, Florida, Missouri, Ohio, or Germany,
Africa.
Africa.
Even Africa.
We have a digital marketer consultant for you. We've been talking about her core business objectives, her target audience, unique value compared to her competitors, and what is her primary sales channel. There's another thing we've been talking about, amongst a whole bunch of other topics. Thanks so much for joining me here. Gabby, just stick around as I take us off the air and give Tony the last word. Or do you have one last word before I end?
Just thank you for like the opportunity to listen, and God bless.
And thank you as well. And we'll just hang on for just another 5 to 10 seconds as I take us off the internet airwaves.
Okay.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
And we're almost off the air. We're ending the stream now.